Over $500 million poured into a state-of-the-art defense system, hailed as one of the most advanced in the world, yet it failed when Israel needed it most. October 2023 saw over 3,000 rockets raining down, overwhelming the Iron Dome and leaving destruction in its wake. Lives were lost, homes destroyed, and confidence in this once-revered technology shattered. The Iron Dome, a revolutionary defense system. Surrounded by hostile neighbors and constant geopolitical tensions, Israel faces missile threats that can strike at any moment. This relentless danger pushed the country to create one of the most advanced defense systems the world has ever seen: the Iron Dome. The Iron Dome wasn't built just because Israel wanted to flex its technological muscles. It was built out of necessity. After years of missile attacks from groups like Hamas and Hezbollah, the Israeli government knew they needed something revolutionary to protect their people and critical infrastructure. They needed a shield that could operate 24/7, detect incoming threats, and intercept them before they caused damage. The result was a system that has become a symbol of resilience and innovation. Now, you might be wondering, how does it work? Well, it's actually pretty fascinating. The Iron Dome operates like a watchful guardian, constantly scanning the skies for potential threats. At the heart of its operation is a cutting-edge radar system developed by Elta Systems, a subsidiary of Israel Aerospace Industries. This radar can detect incoming missiles, rockets, or artillery shells as far as 43 miles away. Once it spots a threat, it tracks its trajectory and speed with pinpoint accuracy. Within seconds, it determines whether the missile is headed toward a populated area or a critical site, like a power plant or military base. If the system decides the incoming projectile poses a real danger, it springs into action. The command center sends a signal to one of the Iron Dome's launchers, which then fires a Tamir interceptor missile. This isn't your average missile. It's equipped with advanced electro-optic sensors and control fins, allowing it to maneuver mid-air and hit its target with incredible precision. The interceptor detonates close to the incoming missile, destroying it in mid-air before it can do any harm. It all happens so fast that people on the ground often don't even realize they were in danger. What makes the Iron Dome stand out is its interception rate. In controlled situations, it has been reported to successfully neutralize up to 90% of incoming threats. Think about that for a second. 9 out of 10 missiles, rockets, or shells are stopped before they can cause any damage. That's a staggering success rate, and a big reason why the system is so widely praised. When you hear stories about the Iron Dome protecting Israeli cities during missile attacks, it's hard not to be impressed by its capabilities. But here's the kicker: this incredible level of protection doesn't come cheap. Each Tamir interceptor missile costs around $100,000. Let that sink in. Every time the Iron Dome fires to stop a single rocket, it's essentially spending the price of a luxury sports car. And during a large-scale attack, when dozens or even hundreds of missiles are launched, the cost adds up quickly. To give you some perspective, during one conflict, the system reportedly fired hundreds of interceptors, leading to costs in the tens of millions of dollars. So why does Israel and its allies, like the United States, invest so heavily in the Iron Dome? Because for Israel, it's not just about money, it's about survival. The system has saved countless lives since its deployment. Without it, the toll of missile attacks would be devastating, both in terms of human lives and infrastructure. It's also worth mentioning that the Iron Dome has a ripple effect beyond Israel's borders. Many countries see it as a model for their own defense systems. Nations like the United States have not only provided funding for the Iron Dome, but have also studied its technology to enhance their own missile defense capabilities. It's a testament to how groundbreaking this system truly is. However, like any piece of technology, the Iron Dome isn't perfect. It's most effective against small-scale attacks, but struggles when faced with overwhelming numbers of missiles launched simultaneously. This was painfully evident during the October 2023 conflict, where a massive barrage of rockets overwhelmed the system, leading to tragic casualties and property damage. It showed that even the most advanced systems have their limits, especially in an era where adversaries are constantly finding new ways to challenge existing defenses. Despite its shortcomings, the Iron Dome remains a remarkable achievement. It represents the pinnacle of human ingenuity in the face of relentless danger. For Israel, it's more than just a defense system. It's a symbol of their determination to protect their people and thrive in one of the most volatile regions in the world. Iron Dome's glorious history. When you hear about the Iron Dome today, it feels like a technological marvel, something out of a sci-fi movie. But what many people don't know is that this groundbreaking defense system was born out of sheer necessity during one of Israel's darkest times. The year was 2006, and Israel was in the throes of the Lebanon War. Thousands of rockets were being launched into northern Israel by Hezbollah, targeting civilian areas and causing chaos. People were forced to live in constant fear, running to bomb shelters every time the alarms went off. The devastation was massive, and it was clear that something had to change. The Iron Dome didn't just appear out of thin air. It started as an idea during this period of crisis. Brigadier General Daniel Gold, a forward-thinking member of Israel's Defense Forces, IDF, was the driving force behind the project. He saw the need for a system that could intercept short-range rockets and artillery shells before they hit their targets. It wasn't an easy task. The technology required was cutting-edge, and the concept itself sounded almost impossible to many. But Gold was determined. He pushed for funding, navigated around bureaucratic red tape, and refused to give up on his vision. In 2007, a major breakthrough happened. Defense Minister Amir Peretz approved the Iron Dome project, marking the official start of its development. The timing couldn't have been more critical. Rockets were still being fired into Israeli territory, particularly from Gaza. The approval of the project gave hope to millions of Israelis who were living under the constant threat of attacks. It was a sign that the government was committed to finding a solution to protect its citizens. The development of the Iron Dome was a race against time. Israeli defense company Rafael Advanced Defense Systems, along with other collaborators, worked tirelessly to design, test, and implement this ambitious project. The result was nothing short of remarkable. By 2011, the Iron Dome was operational, and its first deployment was near the city of Beersheba, an area frequently targeted by rockets from Gaza. People were skeptical at first. After all, it was hard to believe that a system could track and intercept incoming rockets with such precision. But when it successfully intercepted its first rocket in April 2011, skepticism turned into awe. Over the years, the Iron Dome has played a crucial role in Israel's defense strategy, saving countless lives during conflicts. One of its most notable moments came in 2012 during Operation Pillar of Defense. During this conflict, Hamas launched over 1,500 rockets into Israel. Without the Iron Dome, the destruction and loss of life would have been catastrophic. Instead, the system intercepted hundreds of rockets that were headed for populated areas, reducing casualties and preventing widespread damage. For many Israelis, it felt like a miracle. The success of the Iron Dome wasn't just a victory for Israel, it caught the world's attention. Countries around the globe began recognizing the system as a model for short-range missile defense. Military experts and defense analysts praised its near-perfect interception rate and its ability to operate in real time under intense conditions. The United States, one of Israel's closest allies, became a significant supporter of the Iron Dome, providing financial aid to help Israel expand and improve the system. The partnership between the two nations strengthened, with the Iron Dome often seen as a symbol of their shared commitment to security and innovation. But it wasn't just governments that were impressed. The Iron Dome also captured the public's imagination. Its ability to protect civilians during some of Israel's most challenging conflicts made it a source of national pride. News stories and videos of its Tamir missiles intercepting incoming rockets in midair went viral, showing the world what modern technology could achieve. For Israelis, the Iron Dome became more than just a defense system. It became a symbol of resilience and hope. Of course, the journey hasn't been without its challenges. The Iron Dome is expensive to operate, with each interception costing around $100,000. This has raised questions about its long-term sustainability, especially during prolonged conflicts where hundreds of rockets are fired daily. There's also the issue of evolving threats, such as hypersonic missiles and drone swarms, which require even more advanced defenses. Despite these challenges, the Iron Dome remains a cornerstone of Israel's security strategy. Looking back, it's incredible to see how far the Iron Dome has come since its early days. What started as a desperate need during the 2006 Lebanon War has evolved into one of the most advanced missile defense systems in the world. It's a testament to human ingenuity and determination, proving that even in the face of overwhelming odds, solutions can be found. October 2023, the system's biggest test. If there's one thing the world has learned about Israel's Iron Dome, it's that it's a remarkable defense system. For over a decade, it has been a symbol of technological brilliance, intercepting rockets and saving lives in a region constantly on edge. But even the most advanced systems can face challenges, and in October 2023, the Iron Dome encountered its toughest test yet. This was the moment that shook not just Israel, but also its allies, including the United States, who have heavily invested in the system. The attack began with little warning. On October 7, 2023, Hamas launched an unprecedented barrage of rockets from Gaza. Within hours, over 3,000 rockets were fired, targeting multiple cities and regions across Israel. This wasn't a typical attack. It was a large-scale, coordinated assault designed to overwhelm Israel's defenses. For a country that relies so heavily on the Iron Dome to protect its citizens, this was a nightmare scenario. Initially, the Iron Dome did what it was built to do. It identified incoming threats, calculated their trajectories, and launched Tamir interceptor missiles to neutralize them. In many cases, it worked flawlessly. Rockets headed toward populated areas were intercepted mid-air, preventing what could have been even greater devastation. But the sheer volume of rockets fired during this attack was staggering. The system, despite its technological sophistication, simply couldn't keep up. For every missile it intercepted, several more managed to get through. The consequences were devastating. Over 1,300 people lost their lives during the attack, a heartbreaking toll for a nation accustomed to Iron Dome's near-perfect protection. Thousands more were injured, and entire neighborhoods were left in ruins. Schools, hospitals, and homes were hit, leaving a trail of destruction that would take months, if not years, to repair. For many Israelis, this was a moment of shock and fear. The system they had trusted for so long had shown its limitations in the most painful way possible. The Iron Dome's performance during the attack raised serious questions. How could a system that has been so effective for over a decade suddenly falter? The answer lies in the scale and strategy of the attack. The Iron Dome is designed to handle a limited number of incoming threats at any given time. It excels at identifying and neutralizing missiles headed for critical areas while ignoring those destined for unpopulated regions. But when thousands of rockets are launched in quick succession, the system becomes overwhelmed. It's not just a matter of technology, it's also about capacity. No system, no matter how advanced, can handle an unlimited number of threats simultaneously. The attack didn't just rattle Israel, it also caught the attention of its closest ally, the United States. For years, the U.S. has supported Israel's missile defense efforts, providing billions of dollars in funding and collaborating on advancements. The Iron Dome is often held up as a shining example of U.S.-Israel cooperation. So, when the system struggled to defend against the October 2023 attack, it sparked concern among American defense officials. Could similar systems in the U.S. face the same challenges if targeted by large-scale attacks? Was the investment in the Iron Dome enough, or did it reveal vulnerabilities that needed to be addressed urgently? In Washington, the attack prompted serious discussions about the future of missile defense. Analysts and policymakers debated whether the Iron Dome's limitations were an isolated incident or a sign of broader challenges in missile defense technology. Some argued that the attack highlighted the need for additional layers of defense, such as advanced laser systems like Israel's Iron Beam, which could complement the Iron Dome in future conflicts. Others questioned whether current U.S. defense systems were prepared for similar large-scale assaults, particularly given the growing threat of hypersonic missiles and drone swarms. For Israel, the aftermath of the attack was a time of reflection and action. While the Iron Dome remains a vital part of the country's defense strategy, there's now a greater understanding of its limits. Israeli officials have emphasized the need to strengthen the system, expand its capacity, and integrate new technologies like the Iron Beam. The attack also served as a reminder that no system, no matter how advanced, can offer complete protection in every scenario. Defense, as many Israelis learned that day, is not just about technology. It's also about preparation, strategy, and resilience. Despite the tragedy, the Iron Dome continues to be a symbol of hope and protection for Israel. It has saved countless lives over the years and will undoubtedly continue to do so. But the events of October 2023 were a wake-up call, not just for Israel, but for the world. They showed that even the most advanced systems have their vulnerabilities, and that innovation in defense must keep pace with the evolving threats of modern warfare. What went wrong? When we talk about the Iron Dome, we usually think of it as this invincible shield, a defense system so advanced that it can intercept rockets mid-air and keep civilians safe. And for a long time, it lived up to that reputation. But in October 2023, during one of the most intense attacks in Israel's recent history, the Iron Dome faltered. It wasn't because the technology was outdated or poorly designed. It's still one of the best systems out there. The problem was something far more complex: the sheer scale of the attack, combined with evolving threats and tactical challenges. So, what went wrong? First, let's talk about the saturation issue. Imagine you're in a room trying to catch tennis balls being thrown at you. If there's one ball every few seconds, it's manageable. But what if someone starts throwing 100 balls at once? That's what happened to the Iron Dome during the October attack. Hamas launched over 3,000 rockets in a very short period, aiming to overwhelm the system. The Iron Dome, while advanced, has its limits. It's designed to handle a certain number of incoming threats at a time. When the number of rockets exceeds its capacity, some are bound to slip through. The saturation issue isn't just about numbers, it's also about timing. Hamas launched rockets from multiple locations, targeting different cities and regions simultaneously. This multi-directional strategy made it even harder for the Iron Dome to keep up. While the system prioritized threats aimed at populated areas, the sheer volume and speed of the attack created gaps in coverage. It was a calculated move by Hamas, exploiting the Iron Dome's biggest weakness: its inability to handle such large-scale, coordinated assaults. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: cost. The Iron Dome is an expensive system to operate. Each Tamir interceptor missile costs around $100,000. Multiply that by hundreds or even thousands of intercepts during a major attack, and you're looking at millions of dollars spent in a matter of days. On paper, the Iron Dome is a $500 million investment, but that figure doesn't include the ongoing operational costs. This raises a tough question. Does spending that much money guarantee safety? The October attack showed that even with such a massive investment, no defense system can promise 100% protection. The budget versus capability debate is a tricky one. While the Iron Dome has saved countless lives and prevented untold destruction, its high cost makes it unsustainable for prolonged or repeated attacks of this magnitude. And when you consider that Hamas likely spent a fraction of what Israel did to launch those rockets, it becomes clear that the cost-benefit balance is heavily skewed. It's a sobering realization. Even the most advanced technology can be undermined by a cheaper, more aggressive strategy. Another factor that played a role in the October attack was tactical flaws. The Iron Dome is highly effective in specific scenarios, like intercepting short-range rockets fired sporadically or in small numbers. But it wasn't built for large-scale, multi-directional assaults, like the one Hamas launched. The system's distributed structure, where each launcher operates independently, is great for flexibility, but it also has its limitations. Coordinating responses to simultaneous threats from multiple directions puts immense pressure on the system, and during the October attack, it struggled to adapt to the complexity of the situation. Finally, there's the issue of evolving threats. The Iron Dome was designed over a decade ago, and while it has been upgraded over the years, it's still primarily built to counter short-range rockets and artillery shells. The modern battlefield looks very different. Hypersonic missiles, for example, are faster, more maneuverable, and harder to intercept than traditional rockets. They can change direction mid-flight, making it nearly impossible for current systems to predict their trajectory. Then, there's the growing threat of UAV swarms, drones that can attack in large numbers, overwhelming defenses in ways similar to what happened in October. These new threats aren't just theoretical, they're real and growing. Iran, for instance, recently unveiled a hypersonic missile capable of reaching speeds of Mach 13 to 15. If such a weapon were used against Israel, even the Iron Dome, with all its technological prowess, would likely struggle to counter it. The same goes for drone swarms, which are cheaper to produce and harder to detect than traditional missiles. The October attack was a stark reminder that defense systems like the Iron Dome need to evolve to keep up with these advancements in offensive technology. The Iron Dome is still an incredible piece of technology, and its successes shouldn't be overshadowed by its shortcomings. But the events of October 2023 exposed the vulnerabilities of relying too heavily on a single system. It's a wake-up call for Israel and its allies, including the United States, to invest in multi-layered defense strategies that can address a wider range of threats. Systems like the Iron Beam, which uses laser technology to neutralize short-range projectiles, could complement the Iron Dome and help fill the gaps. Enter the Iron Beam, a game changer or another letdown? When you think of futuristic defense systems, laser weapons probably top the list. They sound like something straight out of science fiction, but Israel's Iron Beam is very much a reality. Or at least, it's on its way to becoming one. Designed to address some of the challenges faced by the Iron Dome, the Iron Beam uses high-powered lasers to intercept short-range threats, like rockets, artillery shells, and drones. On paper, it seems like the perfect complement to Israel's existing defense systems. But the question is, will it live up to the hype? Or will it fall short like any other untested technology? At its core, the Iron Beam represents a major shift in how missile defense systems work. Unlike the Iron Dome, which relies on costly interceptor missiles, the Iron Beam uses directed energy to neutralize incoming threats. Think of it like a supercharged laser pointer, but one capable of melting or destroying a missile mid-flight. The best part? Each shot costs around $2,000. Compare that to the Iron Dome, where a single interception costs about $100,000. And you can see why the Iron Beam is creating so much buzz. It's not just about saving money. It's about making defense systems more sustainable in the long run. But the Iron Beam isn't just about cost savings. It's also incredibly versatile. It's designed to handle a wide range of short-range threats, from basic rockets to more advanced drones. This makes it particularly useful in situations where traditional systems might be overwhelmed, or where resources are stretched thin. In theory, the Iron Beam could fill the gaps left by the Iron Dome, especially during large-scale, multi-directional attacks, like the one Israel faced in October 2023. That said, the Iron Beam isn't fully operational yet. It's still undergoing testing and development, which means its real-world effectiveness remains largely unproven. While initial tests have been promising, intercepting targets with impressive precision. It's one thing to perform well in controlled environments, and another to succeed in the chaos of an actual conflict. The October 2023 attack highlighted the need for immediate solutions, and while the Iron Beam shows promise, it's not ready to take center stage just yet. Another challenge lies in the nature of evolving threats. The Iron Beam is designed to handle short-range projectiles, but what about hypersonic missiles or large-scale drone swarms? These advanced threats are becoming more common, and it's unclear whether the Iron Beam can adapt to counter them effectively. Its laser technology, while cutting edge, may have limitations when it comes to speed, maneuverability, and sheer numbers. These are questions that can only be answered through further testing and, eventually, real-world deployment. Despite these challenges, the Iron Beam is strategically significant for Israel and its allies. It represents a step forward in the global race to develop advanced defense systems that can keep pace with modern warfare. If successful, it could not only strengthen Israel's defense network, but also serve as a model for other nations looking to upgrade their own systems. For countries like the United States, which have invested heavily in missile defense technology, the Iron Beam could offer valuable lessons in cost-effective, scalable solutions. Lessons for the U.S. and other nations. The events of October 2023 were a stark reminder that no defense system, no matter how advanced, is invincible. The Iron Dome, often hailed as one of the most sophisticated missile defense systems in the world, faced its biggest test and revealed its limitations. For the United States and other nations watching closely, the question isn't just about what went wrong, but about what lessons can be learned moving forward. One of the biggest takeaways is that over-reliance on technology can be risky. The Iron Dome's reputation as a near-perfect defense system may have created a false sense of security. But, as the attack showed, even the best systems have their limits, especially when faced with overwhelming numbers or evolving threats. This doesn't mean abandoning technology. It means recognizing its boundaries and planning accordingly. Defense strategies need to account for worst-case scenarios, not just ideal conditions. Preparing for new threats is another crucial lesson. The battlefield is changing, with hypersonic missiles and drone swarms emerging as significant challenges. Hypersonic missiles, for example, are incredibly fast and can change direction mid-flight, making them difficult to intercept. Similarly, drone swarms can attack in large numbers, overwhelming traditional systems. The Iron Dome wasn't designed to counter these threats, and neither are many other existing defense systems. Nations need to invest in research and development to create technologies that can address these new realities. This brings us to the issue of cost versus effectiveness. The Iron Dome is an expensive system to operate, with each interception costing tens of thousands of dollars. During prolonged or large-scale conflicts, these costs can become unsustainable. The United States, which has its own missile defense systems, faces similar challenges. The lesson here is clear. Nations need to find ways to balance cost and effectiveness. Systems like the Iron Beam, with its lower operational costs, could be part of the solution. Investing in multi-layered defense strategies that include a mix of technologies is another way to ensure both efficiency and sustainability. Collaboration is another key takeaway. The Iron Dome is a product of Israel's ingenuity, but also of international partnerships, particularly with the United States. These collaborations have not only provided financial support, but also helped advance the technology itself. In an increasingly interconnected world, no nation can tackle modern security challenges alone. Sharing knowledge, resources, and expertise is essential for staying ahead of evolving threats. Ultimately, the events surrounding the Iron Dome and the October 2023 attack highlight the need for adaptability. Defense systems must evolve alongside the threats they are designed to counter. For the United States and other nations, this means being proactive rather than reactive. It's about learning from the successes and failures of systems like the Iron Dome and applying those lessons to future innovations. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.